Hello class, good morning, and welcome to our series of lecture for grade 9 science. I'm Sir Joseph, and this is Science 9. In this lecture, we're going to learn about the respiratory system and circulatory system working together. Our objectives are the following. First, we're going to discuss the process of respiration, pathway of gases, and gas exchange. Second, we're going to differentiate inhalation and exhalation. Third, we're going to discuss the different types of circulation. I want you to breathe in. Now breathe out. Congratulations! You just activated your respiratory system, the mechanism for gas exchange. The process of breathing or respiration begins at the nose and mouth, where oxygen enters your body. From there, it goes to the nasal cavity. The air then travels down to the pharynx, to the larynx, and into the trachea, where it then splits into tubes called the bronchi. Then air is directed into the lungs, and inside the lungs are smaller passages called bronchioles. The air then enters into the tiny sacs called the alveoli, which are covered in a web of tiny vessels called capillaries. This is where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. How does exchange of gases takes place? The oxygen diffuses from the alveoli towards the capillaries, then get absorbed from the deoxygenated blood inside the capillaries and turns the deoxygenated blood to oxygenated blood since oxygen is now present in the blood cells. In contrast, the carbon dioxide from the capillaries diffuse towards the alveoli. The collection of the carbon dioxide inside the alveoli from the capillaries travels through the bronchioles to the bronchi and finally reaches through the trachea and exhales through the nostrils as a waste product. Inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation is the process of breathing in of oxygen molecule. The diaphragm contracts and lungs expand. The air enters and the alveoli inflate. In contrast, exhalation is the process of breathing out of carbon dioxide. The diaphragm expands and the lungs contract. The alveoli deflate and force out carbon dioxide to move out from the system. To illustrate more on how respiratory and circulatory system works, let's learn about the types of circulation. The circulatory system is made up of heart, blood, and blood vessels. Remember, arteries carry blood away from the heart to the entire body, while veins carry blood from the body back to the heart. The heart has 4 chambers. The upper part are the right and left atrium, while the lower part are the right and the left ventricle. The deoxygenated blood rushes towards the supravena cava. This deoxygenated blood comes from the upper part of our body, including the head, the neck, and the chest. In contrast, the deoxygenated blood coming from the lower part of our body rushes towards the inferior vena cava, and these bloods go towards the right atrium, and then to the tricuspid valve, where it keeps the blood moving in the right direction and not flow backward. From there, the deoxygenated blood passes to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it flows to the pulmonary valve, to the pulmonary artery, and to the alveolus in the lungs. On the other side, the oxygen-rich blood or the oxygenated blood from the alveoli in the lungs flow to the left atrium of the heart, to the bicuspid valve, and is moved to the left ventricle to the aortic valve, and is pumped to the aorta, which is the largest artery in our body, and from the aorta to the different parts of the body. The circuits illustrate the types of circulation. From there, we observe the pulmonary circulation. It is a circuit that provides blood from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. The second one that we have observed is the coronary circulation. It is strictly a circuit that provides blood to the tissue of the heart. And lastly, the systematic circulation is a circuit that provides from the heart to the rest of the body, excluding the lung. Now class, we have learned how the respiratory system works together with circulatory system. Now I'm gonna leave you with sets of questions for you to ponder and to work with. Can you trace the path of oxygen from the nose, which is part of the respiratory system, to the arteries, which is part of the circulatory system? Number 2, can you trace the path of carbon dioxide from the veins, which is part of the circulatory system, to the nose, which is part of the respiratory system? Number 3, can you explain how the gas exchange takes place? And number 4, compare and contrast the 3 types of circulation. I hope that you learned something from me today. This is Sir Joseph saying thank you and class dismissed.